Hello, Peter. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to interview you again.
Thank you, Mika. No, good. And likewise.
Now, in this time of great transformation, I would like to ask where we should focus our attention, what state we should aim to be in, and how we can get through this chaotic situation. First question. I feel that changing our consciousness, becoming one, and regaining our sovereignty is the best way to transform dramatically this chaotic world. But there is a lot happening right now that creates separation and division and moves us away from love, harmony, and peace. For some people, reality is too harsh, or they are exhausted by daily life, or they are in difficult situations and they are unable to focus on it. We didn't come to this earth to suffer. We all should have the right to equal prosperity and true freedom. So we need to realize that why this is not the case. And these experiences can also be seen as a process of regaining our innate power. That being said, what can we do in order to maintain our belief and continue to believe in ourselves without losing hope, even in difficult situations?
Firstly, it's a test of faith. Faith in oneself, faith in God, Creator, whatever you want to deem that intelligence that we're all connected to and all a part of. Also, the other aspect of is realizing that what's perpetrating some of these acts, all at the higher echelon, we could say, is a non-human intelligence that doesn't have our highest good at interest. So because you and I wouldn't do something, that's a frame of reference that sort of goes out the window in this scenario. Because this intelligence that's working with a whole other group of intelligences multidimensionally, they feed off these lower vibratorial states. And so because you and I wouldn't do something, doesn't mean they wouldn't, because they're not human. They're using human vessels, interfacing with this world, doing these types of things. And again, it doesn't make it okay because the other perspective, and Mary Rodwell said this to me a long time ago, and it's not making child trafficking and the wars going on and all these bad things doesn't mean it's okay. But let's say you have a parasitic weed, and the only way this weed can live is to suck life from a tree trunk. So what it's doing is it's taking energy from the tree. Now, this is all that this weed knows how to do. Now, it doesn't mean it's okay again. There are other ways that that weed could get energy. But it comes down to us, and you mentioned it being sovereign beings. So, firstly, knowing that in some cases there's no reasoning with this intelligence and the way that it works, but the change comes from the hearts of the people, and enough people doing that, that changes the structure in societies, in governments, and what have you. We do need governments or at least some form of structure and organization like the Star Nations. The Pleiades have councils as well as Orions and Sirians and other worlds. And the structures are a lot different because they've gone through what we've gone through. They've passed those stages. They see where we are at because they were once there and they're observing this. But it's the human race that needs to elevate itself to push through this and connect to the stars and actually go beyond the stars even because even when you reach that level of consciousness, there's other forms of intelligences beyond extraterrestrial going up to angelics that even the ETs are interfacing with. So getting back to your point, faith is key within this. But also we're in a time, and I got this message this morning through my own contact, was that we're in the time of the great divide. this does mean that there is separation, whether it's parents with children, whether it's with partners, whether it's with siblings, whether it's with friends, whether even in societies and groups. Now, I would ask for a moment for you to pull back and just observe rather than good and bad, and just look at as in what frequency am I on and they on, and not from ego or I'm better or they're worse. They're at where they're at. And so what's happening is there's a great divide. And on one side, you've got those that are elevating, that are stepping up, that are service to others. And you could still say that there's somewhat that happening here, but they're just not there yet in a way that others are. It doesn't mean that they're good, they're bad, they're just on their own path and they're more frequency specific, this next group. They're learning. It's like a lot of us can be ahead of them on these things. So if you can come back to a place of love and compassion, and even doing the best that you can to put yourself in other people's shoes, and even knowing that in other lifetimes they could actually be worse than what they are now, and that they're actually doing better, though it's not where we would like. That love, that compassion, that we could say non-judgment to an extent, is helping us stay in a neutral zone, in an observer state, to where we start to feel these cords pull away from our energetic field, which are these people. So what happens is it starts to not affect you as much because you're not attached to them. You're not attached to what's going on. The complexity thing with this is that when you know that this is a projection of within, you can start to manipulate this reality. And you have to be careful in that, because you don't want to do it for self-gain. You want to do it for the highest outcome for all. So what's happening is, if you even do things like visualization exercises first thing in the morning, of visualizing the life that not I'm going to, but I am stepping into when I get out of bed, the people that are surrounding me, what I'm doing for my life, and is it assisting the civilization rather than keeping this machine going? It's not sort of a easy answer, which is why I'm sort of rambling on here, but it's what you can do to make you the best you. And there is going to be trying times in that. There'll be tears, there'll be frustration, there'll be anger, but allow these things to move through you and out. Don't hold on to them, because when you hold on to them, not only can you manifest more of it, but now you're resonating with those lower frequencies, so more of that can come in. But it can also be God, the universe, saying to you, do you really want what you want? Because on the way there, these are the types of things that are going to occur. And just think about that for some food for thought. I won't go on too much longer. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question. You also talked about the importance of being a good person and being the best version of ourselves. And I think cultivating a good humanity and developing spirituality is part of our journey. And it's a very important part because it's a foundation in everything. I feel that good humanity and high spirituality are important in everything from relationships, partnerships, social life, and even the physical to initiating interactions with extraterrestrials, such as ET contact. What do you think about this?
It is a big thing, relationships. There are a lot here at this time on Earth that want to go out and be isolated and away from society. We could say partly I'm one of them because I'm out of town and doing what I'm doing. But the thing is, there needs to be a balance, because part of this beautiful thing of the human experience, or any experience, though the human experience is very dense, but it's got a lot of great aspects about it, is relationships. Now, this is where self-mastery now goes out the window, but it means that it's been good that you delve into self-mastery, but now how are you going to apply it when you're in a relationship or your relationships, whether it's with communities, groups, children, whoever. Because now you're in a situation of, right, you're not in control of you, you're in control of your thoughts and your actions, though some aren't, though they actually really are. And what comes creeping in, we could say even with just normal relationships and partnerships, is it's not about you anymore. All right. So what's happening is you take it from self-mastery to expanded mastery of those you're interacting with. Now, there are, we could say, teachings that we teach each other in our actions, in our thoughts, in what we do. These are beautiful things. There's also triggers. It can be trigger of ego or what I would have done in this situation, what have you. And it very comes back to the scenario that I use with parents with children. Now, I'm not a professional in this area, but the analogy is you've got a bike that the kid rides and there's training wheels so it doesn't fall. You start to see that it's on the two wheels rather than the training wheels, and you go, I'm going to take those training wheels off. Now, you know that child's going to crash that bike one day, and you don't want it to. You don't want your child to fall off the bike, but it's going to no matter what. But the analogy is you as a parent hope that you gave the best foundational things like being a good person, saying thank you, helping somebody where they can help them. That's all you can do, and be an example within that. So in the relationships, whether it's the kiss of another, a hug, being out in nature with friends and family, eating together, all these different things, there is beauty in these things, the interaction. Things are meant to be enjoyed with other people, as well as the balance with us enjoying things with ourselves. In our, we could say communing with God, source, creator, the divine, but just getting to know us and being with us and rejuvenating ourselves and our energies. So it's really something that I don't think anyone's got the answers, including me, except think about when these things arise, whether they're triggers in relationships or how I need to step up, or also boundaries, because boundaries is the flip side of this, which is when's enough enough? When am I giving too much? When am I receiving too little? But there's also the situation, are you in a situation unconditionally? Because that's where the I and the ego can get in, going, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that, blah, blah, blah. And you can really pull back and go, is this me being selfish? Or am I in a place that I have the right to say this? So it's a very case by case basis scenario. But I think if our actions and our thoughts can be better each day than the last with our interactions, with smiling to people, being with people, having fun with people, enjoying the beauties of life, that is the steps to take. And there will be the days that you feel like you go back 3 steps because something happened. And then you might move forward 10 steps. But progress is better than no progress. Though a frequency of joy and doing joyful things with yourself and with loved ones brings in a foundational frequency of joy, which means whether it's exercises, hobbies, going out, whether it's seeing a movie or going for a walk in a park or going to the beach, whatever it is, these things, except for the movies, let's say, they don't cost a cent. You know, as they say, the best things in life are free. So it's maintaining your body, maintaining your car, your home. We need to maintain our relationships. So everything's about maintaining and balance within that. And what can you do with what I've said that can be implemented now with that?
Thank you. So, as you say, I think love is the key that changes everything. I believe one of the things we can do in physical dimension is to individually move closer to a state of unconditional love. In order to do that, I believe it is important to first love yourself and be kind to yourself and treat yourself with care, because this will also lead to words and actions that come from a place of love. And I find practicing self-mastery to be very helpful in this process as well. Another is to be healed by loving energy. When we come into contact with the energy of pure love, we may feel our hearts lighter, and all burden of the mind we were carrying at the time may seem to melt away in an instant. The energy of higher dimensional love, or the love of source, goes beyond that and has the power to heal trauma and deeper wounds in an instant, and is an energy that brings about a great transformation in consciousness. And I believe that the love of source in particular is the ultimate energy of love. Could you tell us your opinion on this, including your own experiences?
Everything comes from source. Also, the trauma, the wrong conclusions, the judgments, it too is a part of source. It doesn't mean, again, that these things are okay, but I'll use an analogy. Master James Gilliland with the ECD Ranch, he once said this. He had an experience, and there was two columns. And in those columns, one had dark black orbs in it, balls of light, but they were dark. So they weren't emanating light, but they were dark orbs. The other one had bright, beautiful orbs in it. So you could say that dark energy, positive energy. But what happened is they would interchange to where the dark ones became light and the light became dark. Everything's got a positive and a negative component. Just like there's negative stuff about you and stuff only that you know, whether it's your thoughts, and there's also positive. No one's immune to it, including me. We all have this duality of our possible actions and possible thoughts and things that we could do. It's finding the equilibrium in the space that observes the good and the bad. When you hit that, you start to hit God's mind. It's a place that I say that if you can even close your eyes and you're observing the voice, but there's a place that goes back to this witnessing you observing my voice right now. That is the mind behind the mind. A place that's non-judgmental, it's witnessing, it's all that is, and questions subside because in that state you're all knowing. It's beyond what the brain can process, we could say. Now, with that said, there is a situation with what you're describing and what you're asking where I would invite people just to think about this being the witness of this reality, because love is the ultimate healer. But the convoluted thing in this is that in the burdens, the trauma can be blessings if we can take them. So the analogy I could use for this is if I got a knife and I stab someone, that's the trauma, emotional trauma, we'll use the analogy. Even after it heals, unless there's a miracle, which miracles do happen, like what Yeshua, Jesus could do and other masters, there's going to be even a little tiny scar left. That scar is the memory of the event in terms of emotions. So you were hurt, you can heal it, but there's going to always be a memory of that event. This is where it goes to deeper healing. How do we respond to that? Now, from a source state and with evolution, we can see benefits in situations. Sometimes there may not actually be, but the lesson in it is us mastering ourselves in our reactions to something that was done wrong to us, that makes us stronger for the next time that it happens, that makes us stronger in different areas. It doesn't mean just with trauma. And people do elevate from trauma. My question is, why can't we elevate from love? Why do we need to have a bad situation to have a psychic experience or a breakthrough or a spiritual experience? Why can't it be from love? And it can happen from love, I can tell you, because I've met many people that's never been abused or hurt, and they're very psychic, they're very connected, they're very spiritual. So we focus in life to focus on, we tend to focus on the cup half full or half empty rather than half full. Meaning, when it's half empty, we look at all the bad things, but when it's half full, we look at the good things and all possibility. See all possibility and have faith, but in the faith, be open to miracles, which is beyond our comprehension of how it can be. But whether it's healing and the ramifications to uplift our life, it can come to us in blessings from God that we don't see. We don't understand the how. Whether it's people coming in and out of our life, situations where we're helped up in life, where we elevate. I think for me, just focusing on what you've got control over, being the best you in that, is what can also, meaning if you focus on source healing, being open to the divine, that is enough. It's surrendering and letting what's going to be, which can be frustrating with time, with emergency situations and certain things. But not everything's in our control, and there's a greater guidance going on and a greater why than we can perceive, I believe, until we transition to those higher states back to our original consciousness.
Thank you very much. So it was a wonderful time.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mika. It's been good. It's been good doing these in the past, so I appreciate it.
Your events will take place at Jaya Sanctuary again from August. Is there anything you would like to announce at this point?
Just to keep updated to social media. On the social media, there's just updates with videos, experiences, sightings, and also teachings on the Jaya Sanctuary YouTube and Rumble. So and Facebook, there's that, and Instagram, all different platforms with updates. And you keep up doing the good work as well, Mika. And I appreciate you showing this for the people of Japan as well as other cultures being able to watch this as well. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for taking your valuable time. I am very grateful. ありがとうご
Thank you.
ざいました。Thank you very much. Thank you.